What's up, gamers? Tracy over at Nerd Squish, and if you're not familiar with them, you should go check them out. They review mostly like horror theme parks, horror films, horror movies. Really great shit. Watch them all the time. Anyway, they challenged me to a horror movie challenge, so we're gonna go through some of the categories and we're gonna talk about some of my favorite horror movies in a bunch of different categories. Some stuff that you've never heard me talk about. It's gonna be really great. Now, before we begin, go ahead and like and subscribe. We're getting so terribly close to hitting partner. I can taste it. I can taste it. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, like and subscribe for more horror content. I also live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at around 8:30 p.m. It's good stuff. We play games. We have a good time. We chat. I like to think it's pretty darn good. Anyway, moving on. Our first category is classic black and white horror film. I had a hard time picking this because I grew up watching a lot of black and white horror films. And I know it seems kind of weird because I am still kind of young. I watched a lot of Vincent Price films with my grandfather, and it really shaped a lot in what I like, actually. I love the drama of Vincent Price. I love it. House on Haunted Hill, Pit and the Pendulum, House of Wax, The Fly. I mean, if I had to pick one, it's gonna have to be House on Haunted Hill. But Vincent Price really dude was just legendary. He has, his own little aura. It's so dramatic. It's so, I don't know if I want to say emotional, but it's definitely dramatic. They're always fun to watch. They're always good, and you can definitely feel their influences still to this day. And also, growing up, having watched all these movies, he was like in every piece of media I watched. Like, I remember being a young child, and there was a whole Vincent Price Scooby-Doo arc. Like, what's up with that? That's cool as hell. You know what I'm saying? It was cool. It was very unexpected. I love Vincent Price. Vincent Price is my black and white horror legend, just straight up. So the next category we got is vampire films. And this is where I deviate from a lot of people because I do have a favorite vampire film, and it's not the one you think. Unless you were thinking 30 Days of Night. Then yeah, totally. I love 30 Days of Night. When I saw it as a teenager, it had not the same vibes, but like being that it was, in a snowy, isolated area, it kind of felt like, The Thing, you know what I'm saying? And when Thing 2011 came out, it feel like there was a lot of borrowed cinematography between the two films. And it really just like cemented my love for 30 Days. And I really love the gore, the blood, and just the desperation of the entire film. It's really great vampire film. If you have not seen 30 Days of Night, please go check out 30 Days of Night. It takes place in the town of Barrow, Alaska, where the town is entering its month of complete and total darkness, and it becomes a hunting ground for some vampires that happen to be cruising through the area. The sheriff and a handful of survivors, they have to hide and fight back against against the vampires. And there's no sun. It's 30 days till the sun comes up, so they kind of have to like wait it out. The vampires in this film, what set them apart for me over others, and I know you can say like what is it, Interview with the Vampire or any of the Lestat films, we can argue against this point, but they were really intelligent, like really intelligent. They were hunting these people down, and it was brutal, very brutal. I love it. 30 Days a Night, favorite vampire flick. So the next category is werewolf film, and this is kind of where you're going to notice this is going to be some good bit of deviation coming ahead. Some technicalities. My favorite werewolf film isn't a full-length film. It is...
Sheriff, you saw the body?
Look, when we have more information, we'll let you all know. In the meantime, the mayor's right. We all just need to remain calm.
Oh, baloney! If it was a werewolf, you need to stop screwing with us and let us know. Do I have to close my bar?
What about my market?
Yeah!
know me. No, we don't. Okay, you don't. Just got to town this morning. But y'all know how I earn a living. No, we don't. All right, I was on the assumption y'all would have been brief about who I am. No matter. My name is Neon Joe, werewolf hunter. And I'm here because when someone get killed by a werewolf, I get a call.
A short, and this specific short, Shapeshifters from Love, Death, and Robots. It takes place in Afghanistan, and two Marines are they're werewolves, and they send them out to go hunt the Taliban, and eventually they go up against another werewolf, and it just kind of like it becomes this whole like them trying to accept themselves as not just weapons of the United States military, but as like their own people with their own wants and desires. And the film, the little short film, is brutal, and it's just it's really good, especially in the sense of the United States military needs them. They use the hell out of them, but they keep them fully separated. And you know, it is a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of allegory in it, you could say. It's definitely, if you look at it at face, it's just like, oh, I don't want to be around werewolves. But when you read into it, it's very reminiscent of, say, like not exactly the Tuskegee Airmen, but like when African Americans first joined the United States Army, you know, they were segregated, and the white battalions saw them as lesser. It rings of that, you know, and I think they really touch on that subject really good, because they don't have to come out and just fucking say it. It's usually what monster movies are about. Fun fact. So my next one, this one's a long-time favorite. I talk about this one all the time. The Blob. The category is creature feature, by the way, and my film is The Blob. I love The Blob. I grew up with The Blob. It's one of my favorite films of all time. It's up there. I know it's so shitty and campy, but I put it up there. It's in my at least top 5 favorite horror films. But you know, in the movie, a meteor crashes down, and in the meteor is it's a blob, and it eats some stuff, and it gets a little bit bigger, and it just keeps eating stuff, and it keeps getting bigger until eventually it takes over the whole town, and all the people are all like, "Oh no, well, the blob, it's gonna get us!" And they figure out you can freeze it to kill it, and they freeze it and they kill it after it eats a whole. There's this really cool scene in it where you can watch the guy melt away. It's so. They really don't make them like they used to. And then the worst part about the movie is it sets up a sequel where the priest he takes a part of the blob and keeps it, and you know it's. In this world of remakes and remasters, I would really like to see a remake of the Blob. I don't care. I don't care if we're sick of remakes. I would love to see a remake of the Blob. I would like to see it to be more brutal, you know, more practical effects, more of that. I think that would be really great. Anyway, my next category is ghost and paranormal film. I don't really get on with paranormal, not because I'm afraid of it, because I do not believe in this stuff. I do not believe in the paranormal. I don't. I really don't. So this category is a little bit harder for me to pick. I was stuck between The Haunting in Connecticut, which is one of my favorites, and the one I chose, which is The Taking of Deborah Logan, which is it's not ghost, but it's definitely supernatural. This woman is being possessed by the spirit of this like crazy guy who's trying to like live eternally, and he needs her to finish this ritual. And while she's sleeping, he takes over and tries to finish the ritual. And it's like, I'm not describing it good because I don't like, it's kind of like I'm doing it on the cuff. But the Deborah Logan, and she's got like Alzheimer, and she's like she's getting worse. And as she's getting worse, like the guy can like really take over better. And eventually, like, it gets really fucking weird. It's like a snake demon or some shit like that to live forever. Dude, it's just awesome. If you've seen this GIF, whatever, I don't give a fuck. If you've seen this, that's where it's from. This is from the taking of Deborah Logan, and it's one of the coolest fucking horror films ever made. It's really great. You need to go see it. I highly recommend it. Everything on this list comes highly recommended, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. The taking of Deborah Logan, I talk about it all the time. Next up is actually another one of my top 5, and it's such a shitty movie, but I love the premise so much that I put it on a pedestal. I put it on a pedestal because I've never seen anything like it before. Contracted. Contracted is basically patient zero of a zombie film. We watch the first person get infected, and we watch as so the main character has a one-night stand, and the guy she has a one-night stand with infects her with the zombie virus. I don't know what it's called, I don't remember. And in doing so, like, we watch her just fall apart, and it is gross. And we watch her like get more and more desperate, and we get to see the changes happening to her, in her, around her, and it's so nasty. It's really it's a small little indie film. Like, it's nothing. It's I think what they spent like $50,000 on a movie. Probably more than that. I don't know. It's a cheap little movie. It's shitty, and it's not really shitty. It's like really good. I really love it. I don't care what anyone says. I really love it. I think it's really great. And then the second one is Contracted 2, which takes place like right as the second one's ending, which is the boyfriend of the girl who got infected by her earlier. Or maybe not the boyfriend, just like he was like a guy. Anyway, Contracted, it's a really great zombie flick. I find it's a really, really, really unique and interesting take on it. If I didn't pick Contracted, it would be 28 Days Later. Do I really need to explain why 28 Days Later would be right there? It was a groundbreaking zombie film. It changed the landscape of zombie films forever. My next category is demonic possession and exorcism, which we go back to paranormal, which I don't have a problem with it. I like, it's hard for me to put aside my suspension of disbelief for a genre of film I wholeheartedly do not believe in. So this movie is Eli. Eli is about a kid. He's suffering from this autoimmune disorder, and he goes to a facility to undergo an experimental treatment. Well, as he's doing it, like, things start to get weird. He starts to see ghosts and shit, and hearing noises and whispers. And as things start to like get real hard, he discovers about his own conditions, and realizing that, his disease might not actually be a disease, but like some kind of curse or some shit. And he learns a lot more about like what he is and himself just by being here, by being a nosy little kid, and just getting out of his room. And well, it turns out he's the son of the devil. His mom wanted to have a kid. She couldn't have a kid, so she made a deal with the devil. The devil was all like, bam, bam. And now she's all pregnant. And it's like, son of the devil. It's kind of cool. I thought it was a neat premise. I know other movies have done it better, but I thought it was really interesting for a demonic possession movie, I guess. Anyway, next up, Holiday horror films. This one's a hard one for me. Not really, but I choose Prometheus because it is technically a Christmas movie and I don't care. And if that doesn't count, I'm going to pick Frozen because it takes place in snow. I'll tell you a little bit about Frozen. Frozen, a group of friends go on a ski trip and it's like last call. And they're like, we want to go down the mountain one more time. So they take the little ski lift up, the little gondola. And as they're going up, the last group comes down. Not the last group, obviously, but like the last group. And they're like, okay, shut it down. So they're stuck on a ski lift overnight. A blizzard hits, and like one of them like freezes to death, and one of them falls to go get help, and he gets eaten by a wolf. And homegirl survives. Like the girl survives, and it's like really, really fucking harrowing. It's a really harrowing movie. It is really like I was on the edge of my seat the entire time watching this movie. And to this day, it is one of my favorite horror films that take place in like a single location. Followed closely behind that one of Ryan Reynolds in The Box. I thought that one was a cool movie. You're not going to take that away from me. And if this one doesn't count, Jack Frost, I guess, Jack Frost. I like Jack Frost. I think it's a goofy, campy horror film. And it doesn't get the respect it deserves. Jack Frost. So now we're starting to get into the categories where I really shine. And so this category we're talking about now is psychological horror. This is where I started to really come into my own because I watch a lot of psychological horror films. And if you've ever heard me talk about psychological horror films, you know what I'm going to say. The Machinist. It stars Christian Bale. I think it's between Batman movies where he like loses hundreds of pounds of muscle and he becomes emaciated. And his diet was like cigarettes and apples for the whole way through. Well, he's suffering from extreme insomnia and having not slept in nearly a year. And he's suffering from like severe paranoia and hallucinations. And after like a mysterious workplace accident, some guy I think loses a limb. Trevor, the main character Christian Bale plays, believes he's being targeted by conspirators and begins to uncover like cryptic clues to like what's going on. And his desperate investigation leads him down a path, forcing him to confront with some deeply buried guilt. And it is just, we find out that the guy that was in an accident wasn't even real, and he keeps having these hallucinations. Well, it turns out that he killed a kid years prior, and he's like really struggling with it. And it is just, it's, I don't want to spoil it too much because it really is. It's a really good film. I really love it. It's one of those ones where like I recommend it, but I really don't want to spoil it. And I guess that really takes away like anyone's desire to want to see it, but please do yourself a favor. Go see The Machinist. It is a fantastic psychological horror film. It takes place between Batman movies. Christian Bale's in it. He fucking knocks it. He's like this tiny little shriveled up Christian Bale. It's crazy. Go watch it. So now we get to the creme de la creme. My category. The category, I don't know why this category is buried at the bottom. I'm glad it is buried at the bottom because I get to talk about my favorite horror film of all time. The Thing. Now, if you've never seen The Thing, it takes place at an Antarctic research facility where a bunch of guys are just like sitting around doing research, obviously. One morning, a helicopter's coming up and they hear gunshots, blam, 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 blam. And these, what is it, Polish or Danish or Swedish? One of those fucking Scandinavian languages. They're shooting at the dog and they're like, we gotta kill the dog, but in like Swedish. And they don't know what to talk about. They're like, hey, we're not killing the damn dog. So they kill the guys. And because they're like, we're going to kill the dog. And then they're just gone crazy. And well, it turns out the dog is an alien and begins assimilating the other dogs that we see later. And we learn that it can take the form of anything biological. So it starts taking the form of the people to survive. And they have to do tests and they start like both killing each other and trying to kill it. And it is so good because by the end of it, you don't know who's who or what's what. And it is just so beautiful. John Carpenter knocked it out of the park. it's one of those ones where it took years for it to really get the respect that it deserved. But me, being born in the 90s, I didn't have to wait to respect it or pretend to not like it. I've just always liked the thing. It has always scared the hell out of me since I was a child, and I've held it on a pedestal since I was a child. And I always love this movie. The game's cool. Not really, but the game's fine. It's technically canon. Takes place right after. And then you got, what? The Thing 2011. You will never convince me to hate or even dislike or not love The Thing 2011. Okay, I love The Thing 2011. It is one of my favorite films. I think it's great. Yes, the studio could have kept with the practical effects. Yes, of course. But it wasn't the guys making it. It wasn't their choice. The studio made the decision. Was it Paramount or whatever? They made the decision. They went above their heads and said, hey, we're going to do it our way, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so yeah, that's the movie challenge. That's 10 movies. I got my other hands full. 10 movies. There's 10 movies. The 10 movie challenge. I thought this is a really cool opportunity for me to talk about movies because I don't get to do that a lot often here. We did the one Alien movie review, and I still need to do a full review on The Thing because, again, I love The Thing, and I would like to talk about it more. Anyway, I got a bunch of reviews coming out. What we got? Looking at the board here. Next up, coming out, as far as reviews go, is one of my Dead Space 2 reviews, because I got multiple of those coming. One of my Dead Space 2 reviews are coming out, as well as Ebola Village, and I think by this point that you're watching, I may have released my first episode of The Games That Made Us, which you should totally check out. Me and Brian from Geek Squire, we talk about the games that made us, and it was really cool. We just yapped. Anyway, if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. We're getting really close to hitting partner, which means I can make money off of YouTube, and that would really, like, I'm a stay-at-home dad, you know? It's kind of like, this is what I do. This is how I make money. I stream games and stuff like that. Anyway, enough pandering and begging. That's it. That's the video. Slosh out.